Hello everyone, welcome back again. So let's keep the momentum going. And to start with, we know that online communities have evolved into a vibrant ecosystem where members are not just passive content consumers, but active creators who drive the community's growth through innovation and value. Well, this transformation from members to co creators unveils a world of untapped potential within people powered communities. This transition represents a paradigm shift in the digital landscape. Well, it's a testament to the capacity of the individuals who come together, collaborate, and collectively shape their online community environments. This shift opens up an exciting world of innovation, empowerment, and endless possibilities for these dynamic spaces. And to talk about this and more, let's hear from an incredible panel of community mavericks. Allow me to call on stage the moderator of this panel discussion, Subhodeep Mukherjee, Senior Content Writer, Content Marketing at Grizzly Interactive. Subhodeep is a seasoned content marketer with expertise in creating captivating brand stories that strike the right chord and marketing strategies that bring results. So here's Subhodeep with our next panel discussion, from members to co-creators, unveiling the potential of people-powered communities. Over to you, Subhodeep.
Thank you, Rohit. I could not have introduced myself better if I tried. Thank you for that exhaustive introduction. All right, folks. Hello, everyone. Our journey on this year's Community Refocus brings us to another insightful session on how you can unleash the true potential of people-powered communities. Please feel free to participate in our live chats and Q&A session throughout and after this discussion for valuable insights. On that note, let's get started. People-powered communities represent an opportunity for brands to unleash creativity, collaboration, and collective potential, bringing diverse skills, perspectives, and passions to the table. It's a vibrant space where ideas flourish, innovations spark, and meaningful conversations thrive. These communities become catalysts for positive change, be it in local initiatives, global movements, or digital realms. However, creating a vibrant ecosystem where the potential of people-powered communities knows no bounds includes several dimensions to it. On that note, we are excited to dive deeper into this realm with our expert panelists, two of the best community mavens in this field. Allow me to introduce them. Our first panelist is Lais de Oliveria, author and founder of Hacking Communities. With over a decade of experience, she is a specialist in community building and entrepreneurship, recognized as among Asia's top 50 women leaders in 2016. Thank you for joining us today, Lais.
Thank you so much. I'm very glad to be here.
And that's not all, folks. We also have with us Corina Gheonea, Global Community Director, UiPath. She has 12 years of experience in community development and has co-founded innovative educational projects. She guides startup leaders as community advisor to help grow their communities. Thank you for joining us, Corina.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you both with us in this discussion. That's great. Now let's get started and share insights on how community members can become co-creators, unveiling the potential of people-powered communities. Keeping that line of thought intact, my first question is to you, Lais. According to you, what leads to the transformation of community members from passive consumers of content to active co-creators?
Okay, first of all, quick check. Can you all hear me? There? Perfect. Thank you, Corina. I think the key to transform people from consumers to contributors is building relationships. That goes very deep, and there's a lot of tactics we could explore. And I'm sure Corina will have a bunch of things to share on the same question. But without that sense of authenticity in your relationship, without a shared sense of mission, you are going nowhere to start with. A great example I'm going to bring is Duolingo. Everybody knows how Duolingo is a great example of community and how they built an incubator of courses and had their own members creating courses on their languages where they were experts. I had a conversation with Vivian Weidler, who used to be their community product designer. And she mentioned how it all started from that very strong shared sense of mission. The same would be shared by Laura Nessler, by the way, and Gina Gottlieb, who was their head of growth. They all, when asked this question, talk about how people were happy to think of, I can be part of allowing other people in the world to speak my language. And I might not be an expert in anything else, but I am an expert in my personal language. So that sense of ownership, that empowerment, where your members feel that by contributing, I enhance my identity. By giving value to your community, I am no more someone who's just going from A to B, following your brand promise. I am someone who's helping deliver your brand promise. And that gives them goosebumps. It's like, wow, I'm committed to this brand. Beyond price and convenience and location, I will prefer a brand who allows me to co-create their mission with our share. I know that's more principle driven than tactics driven. We can talk about how to get there. But the baseline of this is like building relationships. And building relationships require recurring encounters, designing interactions, building trust, and so on. But let's explore that further, and we can take it from there.
Yes, what I was saying was, I agree, Lais. This transformation stems from fostering a sense of belonging and purpose within the community. Community leaders can engage members through meaningful interactions, encouraging their input and valuing their contributions to create a collaborative and participative atmosphere. This actually brings me to my next question to you, Corina. According to you, what is the impact of user-generated content on community engagement and brand advocacy?
Well, there is a lot that is being created. And the first thing is that it's not just theory. So when we invite the community to create content, they become co-creators, and that means that they bring real examples. They will speak from their practice. They will speak from their reality. So those how-tos are not just instructions from our end, but are the real how-tos of how they get things done with the products that we put in their hands, with the services that they get from the community where they are. In my case, automation developers, so quite a technical community. But it's very important to have those real examples from their end. Then it's also about faster time to get things published. Like, it's easy to have a release, let's say, but once with that release, when there are multiple minds working, practicing, seeing those examples, you get knowledge, an abundance of knowledge from different other angles. So everyone gets to experience their part, but they also get to experience what the others are exploring, seeing, practicing, learning. There is a lot also in testing. So for sure, all the products are good, but there is also a part of that needs to be tested, that needs to be changed. Change is a constant in everyone's life. So testing is a lot of, in terms of value that is being generated. And co-creators also have a tendency to move beyond that one single value, like that one single output that they generate. I think it's a lot also about building ecosystems. So having co-creators with you is about co-creating and building an ecosystem that is not just in the power of whoever started that community, but is in the power of all who serve, participate, and consume what is being generated in the community.
Certainly, Corina. User-generated content significantly amplifies community engagement and brand advocacy by fostering authenticity and trust. This organic content resonates more profoundly with the audience, generating genuine conversations and enhancing community vibrance. Continuing the same line of thought, I have a question to you, Lais. In your opinion, what challenges do community leaders commonly face when fostering active co-creation, and what innovative approaches or tools can they use to overcome them?
Thank you. I'm going to start from what I think is the foundation of challenges, and it's related to what Corina just shared. I think that like when the community, the ecosystem of value creation, of either it is content creation or any other piece of contribution that you want your members to, any action you want them to take, you need to create a system where you are no longer the person who created the community, the generator, creator of value, but it's the power is no longer on who started the community, but in the people who are creating value. That requires, by principle, an ability to be vulnerable as a brand and allow people to contribute within your realm of value creation. And that is deeper than we can imagine, because we are used to think of businesses where we have, as if you think about the business model canvas, you have the left side of the canvas, which is value creation, and then have the right side of the canvas, which is value delivery, customer segments, channels, relationships, etc. Community implies bringing your customers to see your kitchen, and into the left side, operation side of your business model canvas. That being said, you need to have a clear definition of what contribution means. For instance, Corina was mentioning a very good example of content creation, and that brings from their personal experience and makes that way more relatable and authentic to who is consuming it. Another example could be you want members to answer to each other questions on a forum, or you want members to create their own products within your product. Whatever contribution means, it must have that very sharp clear into your onboarding experience, into your user experience journey. You need to create, and then talking about solutions, what I call a user contribution journey, which is similar to the traditional experience during design, thinking of design thinking techniques, but applied towards contribution, understanding the key steps you want members to take from becoming a new member to becoming a top contributor. You need to understand what are the measurable, actionable steps you want them to take. There are tools that can help you there, but many of us, talking about a key challenge, do not track our members in terms of contribution accurately. Many of us do not understand how community can actually help deliver the core business value proposition. Another example I want to bring here is Waze. Waze has a very interesting team of community in which they are structured in a model of squad, where each member of the community team is attached to key areas like product development and marketing. And they were able to prove to the core business that community is able to accelerate, for example, the capacity product have to deliver a very good solution to customers by 4 times, by including members in the QA, the quality assurance aspect of product development. So what I'm saying here is that you need to understand clearly how community can add value to business, and then you need to lay out those steps you want your people to take, understanding that these are very concrete, measurable aspects that deliver value to the business, and then you need to track those. So data collection, data tracking is so fundamental to community. I usually say that community builders are highly empathetic system thinkers. You need to build a system. And many times we're just like firefighting as community managers. We're just doing whatever to show value. We're creating content, we're doing events, we're creating interaction. And interaction engagement by itself is nothing if it's not contributing to the core value proposition. So I think I said a lot of things, but in a nutshell, it's making sure that contribution is trackable, measurable, and whichever thing you call contribution, co-creation, it needs to be very core aligned with the business value proposition and with the OKRs of the business core areas.
Undoubtedly, Lais. Community leaders often grapple with diverse member interests and engagement issues. Indeed, innovative strategies like gamification, intuitive collaborative platforms, and mentorship programs effectively address these challenges, fostering active co-creation. Just continuing that line of thought, Corina, what metrics or indicators do you consider essential in measuring the success of a community's transition from members to co-creators?
Well, definitely as community managers, we want co-creators. They are the ones with whom we get to interact. As much as we want the community to grow and to have members that consume, they are successful in using the product, the services, the purpose of the community, you want to have the ones in the community that do react, that do have an initiative, and then they also get deliver that together with you or by themselves. So clearly, this is the purpose of a community manager. And if there is a community manager, for sure, he or she will try to get that. From participation, I think it's about, the first thing is let them get accommodate with what is there in your infrastructure, in your community, where you are hosting them. So that can be by just starting to give a like, by helping another colleague saying, hey, you tried to answer this, but it's not yet complete, or you missed to add the file. Small things that get them in the mood that that place belongs to them and they can share a bit of appreciation. From there, what I think is the most important is when they do feel that they are also prepared to share. Like they have the expertise to share to the others. They feel that they can share from their example and no one will say, oh, this is not enough, this is not complete, so this is something that I already knew. So getting used to that. These kind of things, the way we do it is like you try to put them in sort of like different mechanisms, like small challenges, just to give them the opportunity to contribute, or different badges in a gamification system that just appreciates small steps that they do in the community, because you know that on the long term, those things contribute to that person to feel good in the community and to get to be a collaborator, a co-creator in the community. What is also important with this, they can sound simple and small, but they are important because you can also overwhelm your community by showing most like the all-time leaderboard. So it's very hard for someone new if they get to see only that. So that's why I'm saying, like, through small challenges, quizzes, hackathons that invite others, like not only the pros, those are some ways. The support part, so the forum part, crowdsource support, it's quite important in that sense. And then showing appreciation. Like we do have a tendency to say every month, these are the top contributors. But if we see that there are new contributors, we also mention who those new ones were. So trying to create space for the new ones to come, not to see that it's something long, something hard to get. So those small steps, appreciation of the small steps, is something that creates a ton of value, and it's a way we measure and we try to track as much as possible. And the most important, we try to generate them. So these are some elements, and especially when it comes to the digital space. Then when it comes to events, user groups, mentoring, so someone who is not ready to be a speaker in an event and to have a crowd in front of them, but who is ready to be a mentor for one or for a few in a small round table, that's something that we invite and we appreciate, and we try also to invite the community to identify those. So these are the ways through which we measure, but more importantly, we try to influence those to have them as many as possible around us, people to see small opportunities through which they can become co-creators.
That's quite insightful, Corina. In my opinion, certainly community leaders can collectively analyze metrics like engagement levels, quality and quantity of user-generated content, member feedback, and more. These insights will help them gain a comprehensive understanding of the community members' evolution, ensuring that the initiatives align with both member needs and business objectives. Now, folks, if it was in my power, this conversation would go on forever, but all good things must come to an end. Hence, before we wrap up, I would have just one question to both of my panelists. So, guys, according to you, what are the best practices for creating an environment that encourages collaboration, idea sharing, and meaningful contributions within communities?
Thank you. I think I'm going to start by building on what Corina just shared, because I think everything relates to everything. My background is more in startup ecosystem development. And one of the learnings that we actually validated by research while I worked at Startup Genome was the impact of resonance and representation. And she mentioned this thing of like appreciating the small steps, and of course, first defining them, being able to measure them. And she mentioned somehow the ineffectiveness of leaderboards where you keep just showcasing your pros and inhibiting or maybe scaring the newer members. In a startup ecosystem example, it's proven that by, for example, showcasing small early stage entrepreneurs to students in college is more effective to make them become entrepreneurs than showcasing unicorn founders. Why? When you see your peer that fundraised 100K and he's your senior in college, it's much more believable that you can become an entrepreneur than when you see Elon Musk starting 3 companies and the trajectory of 20 years. So when you talk about people taking action, I love that concept that she brought in, that in the long term, all the small steps build up to something really big. And I think it's very important to create within that idea safe spaces. And when we talk safe spaces, it sounds like something very fluffy. But in practice, a safe space is a place where people feel like others get them, where there are no stupid questions, a place that you can ask anything and be yourself, and it feels like finally people get me here. And this is the magic of community. And if you're building that around a product, what is a problem that your product is solving? And in which way can I make people more comfortable getting that journey from A to B delivered and done? So creating safe spaces might involve building trust, might involve basically hosting small interactions where people feel safe to host, to get to know each other, ask questions, and over time, the cadence, the recurringness, I want to say, of those interactions will build a sense of familiarity where people know each other's spaces. They feel safer to ask questions, to contribute, to provide value, but also they feel more committed to it because they know who's in the room. So providing smaller spaces where people can contribute, making contribution easy and accessible, and rewarding them, as Corina said, by the small steps, instead of just creating that cool kids club of the pros and the top contributors that everybody else early on feels inhibited to be a part of. So I'm going to stop here. We can talk way more about safe spaces. I also talk about it very in depth in my book, Hacking Communities, in chapter 7, I don't remember, but like we can talk about it forever, and I want to hear from Corina.
Some things that I can share, and is more like related to how you run it from the inside. Don't rule and control the game, I would say. Like, community is there, and it should be there like a sounding board for you. If you start to control the entire message that you receive from them, it means that there is a bigger possibility, hopefully, that they will create a community in a different place, not in your place, and you will miss that, hopefully. There is also a big chance that they will not want to be part of a community if you take so much from their voice. So the idea is to guide and to support, but always to know that through community, you democratize the access to that particular mission, knowledge, product, service, what you have. So those are really, really important. And it's a lot about our ambitions, right? Like we are there in this role and we get those business objectives and those OKRs, but for them, there is a different kind of value that they expect and they need. So they don't track the same objectives like us, and we should make sure that we understand that and we balance that. And there is a space for these two to live together. And with that, I think communicate honest intention. So if you put a tactic in place, but you put it there because you know in the end that, I don't know, you want more social media exposure, try to see what's valuable for you and for your community advocates there. So it should be at least equal value for them in whatever you ask them to do for your community. And talk real objectives that you have in the back. And you might be clear with them, or you might also say, I'm not that sure if we will get there, but this is what we want to achieve, because they can also be creative with you, and they will start with, for sure they care for, like they need to care for that topic. Like that's why they have a fuel there. There is energy from their end. So you should expect that. So your intention, your honesty with them will help you have also sort of like business partners, although community is quite a fair, equal, open space where they don't expect anything business related, let's say. but it can become that kind of partnership with them if you play this game in an honest way, valuable way for them, showing respect to their contribution and making sure that you will achieve your objectives because you trust their freedom, the ecosystem that they will generate, and the democratization that is going to be there.
There were two very insightful answers, Lais and Corina. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the floor up to some viewer questions that we have gotten, and we'll see how we can answer them. So I guess the first question that I am seeing here is a person asks, can you share examples of successful initiatives that encourage collaboration, idea sharing, and meaningful contributions within a community?
I think that I'm gonna mention one thing that I'm building now, and then I can give another example of something larger that may be more relatable. But that's still ongoing, so we'll see if it succeeds later on, which relates to exactly what Corina said, like bringing your community members in, sharing your vision, and being honest with them that we are on this together, and it depends on several factors to get where we're gonna get. But I think that so one way to bring people together is by start from a very small, solid group of people who already believe what you believe, or who already are curious and intense about whichever cause you're working towards, or goal or mission you have, and bring these people together from the beginning to expand your community from there. I hear a lot of this idea of do things that do not scale. I think that what that means in practice is that by building in a core, could be a better users group. It could be a group of people who are, for example, if you're building a yoga community, you could bring in yoga teachers first, who already are very knowledgeable and passionate about it. And then start creating activities for those people to bring them together, to get to know each other. And that's what I'm doing right now with the community I'm starting. I'm starting a community of Portuguese-speaking community builders, professionals, and managers. And the way I did it is by inviting people who are pros and curious and putting them in one room and using my book as a prompt, as an excuse for us to talk, but being very open about the fact that it's just an excuse. But building those interactions, and soon these people will start growing the community by default, because what I want us to do is share content and knowledge from their own, and not just from myself, which is the goal of community, with this community, which is knowledge sharing in terms of community as an industry. Bottom line, I would say start strong and small and grow from there by building trust with those core people. Corina.
Yeah, I will try to be short with this one. Some examples for us. We are in automation professionals. So that means that we invite as many as possible to become automation professionals. So a way for us to have initiatives is our community and our community advocates wanting to support others in growing their skill. So we have different initiatives like bringing more women into automation. And we have programs like starting from having mentors, speakers, trainers, and so many other roles that the community members can have. There are ways for us to mentor students going into colleges. So this is what we like, and we see that works quite well. So finding someone that is not yet skilled but might be interested in the topic in which you are, and trying to build projects, initiatives for them. I think this is a very beautiful way because it also brings people together to collaborate. So initially, you are being recognized as an advocate for what you contribute, but once you get that recognition, collaboration starts to be there quite a lot. And this is very important, and gender is that relationship and ecosystem that we were talking at the beginning.
There were two really enriching answers, I'd say. Maybe we have a little bit more time to take another question that we had received. All right. So, to both of you, are there any challenges or pitfalls organizations should be aware of when encouraging co-creation within their communities, and how can these be addressed?
I can share a bit. One aspect is setting expectations. And with that comes if there is any commercial attachment to it or not. And for us in community is not, but people need to understand and be clear about that. So when things get way too into business, clear expectation setting those, it's quite important. And also for a community manager, maybe someone who starts a community, is if you start to do that with some of your advocates and with the others you don't. That's a tricky thing, that you need to keep your guidelines very well in place, this transparency, and to make sure that you do appreciate contribution, authentic contribution for that purpose. So this is one, I think, very tricky problem that you can face in community growth, in inviting co-creators.
Thank you, Corina. Thank you for that very enriching answer. And I suppose, Rohit, we are out of time.
Yeah, so thank you, Corina, Lais, and Subhodeep. We couldn't have asked for a better panel discussion than this. You guys shared great insights on the potential that these people powered communities hold. Thank you for that.